Hello everybody, Senge here, and welcome to another video. This video is going to be on email sequencing, and I'm not going to get into a whole lot of technical stuff. I'm not going to get into my email service provider, my ESP, and show you exactly how to lay this stuff out. But this is just kind of an overview of what you really need to do in email marketing. Email marketing has changed a lot. And what I typically see a lot of internet marketers do is this typical, what I call the typical dollar sequence. And I'll explain why I call it the dollar sequence in just a little bit. So typically what happens is that there's some sort of start action. So maybe someone signed up for a lead magnet or whatever way that they came onto your list. And maybe that you apply some tags here, and then it starts your typical, you send them an email and then there's a delay. And then whatever this delay is, maybe it's a week, 7 days or 5 days, or maybe it's you're emailing daily. Whatever it is, you email them, then there's a delay, then you email them a completely different email, and then there's a delay, and then you email them, email 3 and so forth. And it goes on like this, maybe forever. I don't know, depending on your marketing sequencing. But this is typically how it runs. And yes, this does work, but it doesn't really work that efficiently. You're not really doing anything here should someone, open their email or, tag their, if they click on a link here, maybe you might know, but there's really no extra steps in this sequence. It's just you send them email 1, then 2, then 3, and so forth. Let me show you a different way of doing things. This is what I call the diamond way of doing things. Now, I down here you'll see that I have typical dollar sequence, diamond, and antimatter. The reason that I named it this is because dollar, it's just that it's worth $1. It is money, it is valuable, but not as much as maybe a diamond is. And a diamond is very expensive. Maybe a diamond costs you 10 grams, right? And then you have that's very expensive. So it's much better than just your typical dollar. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have a dollar or would you rather have a diamond in your hand, right? And then there's antimatter. Antimatter is actually the most expensive stuff on the planet. And for just a gram of antimatter, you're looking at a cost of around $62.5 trillion for just a single gram of antimatter. And yes, that is trillion with the T. So that's why I've kind of named it this way, because each way of doing things with email marketing makes it a little bit better. Now, we're not going to cover the antimatter today. We're just going to cover this particular dollar sequence and then the diamond way of doing things. Antimatter would take too long, and it's a very unique way of doing things. There's a lot involved in it. So let's just move over to diamond. Now, you'll notice that here is very, very simple. Start action, apply tags, and then email delay, email delay, email delay, and so forth. All right. When we go over here and look at diamond, we notice a different way of doing things. It starts off with an action, applying tags, and then maybe a delay. All right, between the applying tags and sending out an email. But then there's a whole lot more going into it. So with email 1, they get email 1. And then maybe 20, let's say you're emailing daily, right? And maybe 23 hours afterwards, it asks, the system is checking, did they even open the email or not? If there is yes, then of course it goes this way, they delay and move on to email 2. If they did not open that email, what happens is you have a delay, just like you do here, right? And then maybe the next day or a week later, it sends them email 1B. Now, what this is these two emails are the exact same email. The content is the exact same. The only thing that we're going to be changing essentially is the subject line and the first sentence of the email. Literally, that is it. That's all we're changing. And because they didn't open this one, so something, may have happened that they did not like that subject line. It didn't resonate with them. So we're going to send them a different one. We're going to try a different one. So, they didn't open it. We delay it. We send them this one the next day. And then again, it's going to check, did they open it or not? If yes, we'll delay it and send them to email 2. If not, the exact same thing happens. We delay it and we send them email 1C, which is the exact same thing as 1B and 1A, except the subject line and maybe that first line is going to be different. And we're going to do this a few times, right? If they get all the way through email 1D and it checks and it did not open it, what I end up doing is I just circulate it, right? So they're going to go right back into 1A and then 1B, 1C, 1D, and they're going to loop this until they open one of the emails. When they open one of the emails, of course, they're going to move on. But until they do, they will keep getting the exact same emails over and over and over and over again until they open one of them. All right. You don't have to loop this. It's something I do, and I have found a tremendous result. Maybe they don't open it on the first run through, and they open maybe 1B on the second run through. Maybe you can have it where it loops, and there's a time difference. All right, so maybe all of these go out at 9:30 in the morning, and then the next run through, maybe it sends it at 2 p.m., and then the next one maybe at 9 p.m. And so forth. So, you can change this up, the looping, as you see fit. But this is what I do, is that they go through 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. And then if they don't open any of these, they go right back to 1A. And they'll just repeat the sequence until they open one of these emails. All right. If they open any of these emails, of course, there's going to be a delay. And they'll move on to email 2. And then it's going to start the exact same process with email 2. So email 2A, did they open it? If yes, they'll move on to email 3. If not, they'll delay and move on to email 2B, which is the exact same email as email 2A. The only difference, again, is the subject line and maybe that first sentence. I normally do change the first sentence as well, kind of give it a little bit different for when they see it in something, their email client like Gmail or something. Gives it, a little bit different situation. Maybe they're going to open it. Now, if you add all these up and just say all of this is just one email, all right? And this is one email, all right? My statistics have gone from open rates of say, 30% to about 86% in doing it this way. So when they come in, 86% of the time, they're going to open up one of these emails, which to me is just email number 1. All right. I actually found that email 1B was pulling much harder than any of the other ones. So I actually moved that to where email 1A is and just switched these two. And it helps me figure out which one is doing better. It's kind of like my split test. And I just keep working people through every single one of my emails in this fashion. So they come in, they get email 1, and it checks it. If they didn't open it, then they get email 1B, and it checks it, and so forth, so that they're constantly being checked. Did they even open? Was there some sort of engagement happening? All right. That's kind of the diamond way of doing things. It is a much better system than your typical dollar sequence, which, you really have no idea what's going on. And a lot of marketers, they have no idea what's going on. Maybe they see some stats. Yeah, my open rates are 30%, but there has to be much more than that. All right. This is 2018. We need to be doing things a lot differently. All right. So that's the diamond way. Now the antimatter way, I'm not even going to show it in this video, is much different, much more complex, because it's calculating things like, what time they opened the email, did they click on any links, and all these different things that you could possibly do with an email. And then it gears all the additional emails for what's going on. There's a lot of automation in it. There's a lot of calculating of what's going on. That's why I'm not going to show it now. It's just very, very complex. It's actually a way that I created, and I created it in my sleep. So I was asleep one day and I came up with this way of doing things, and it was so good I had to test it. And of course I created this big email sequence using this, my antimatter way, and it worked like, oh my God, like you just can't believe how well it works. I'll probably end up coming out with a course on how to do it. I don't know, but it's really, really awesome. So that is kind of the diamond way, the better way of doing things than what you may be used to. If you like this video, please, hit the like button and comment below. And I will see you next time, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this email, and we will see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.